Dear colleagues, I would like to introduce you a report. The influence of environmental tax rates on the leveled cost of heat on the example of organic and biofueled boilers in Ukraine. At the present stage of development, humanity uses so many resources that in the near future the resources of our planet will be on the verge of exhaustion. Therefore, the global concept for solving this problem has become sustainable development. The main goal of sustainable development, which can be defined as development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs, is the balance between economic and ecological aspects. In accordance with sustainable development concept, Ukraine has made a number of commitments to protect the environment and reduce pollutant emissions like many other countries. In different countries, the definition of environmental taxes may differ. Even Ukrainian legislation defines it in two ways that, to some extent, complement each other. It can be defined as a mandatory payment which is based on the actual amount of pollutants that end up in the environment, or as a tax that is included in the price and is aimed at certain activities, goods, or services to protect the environment. Heat energy industry is one of the industries that are significantly affected by environmental tax rates. Because of that, it is reasonable to research the influence of the changes in environmental tax rates to the economic and environmental aspects of sustainable development. The initial data for calculating emission taxes are the annual consumption of a particular type of fuel by the boiler plant, determined by the thermal capacity and efficiency of the boiler plant, its operating time, and installed capacity utilization factor, fuel efficiency, pollutant emission factors, and eco-tax rates. Carbon tax is one of the types of taxation system of pollution, and it has been implemented or scheduled for implementation in most of the European Union countries. Sweden has the highest carbon tax rate per ton of carbon emissions, followed by Switzerland and Finland. You can find the lowest carbon tax rates in Poland, as well as in Ukraine. Table shows the tax rates for air emissions of some pollutants by stationary sources of pollution, which include heating boilers, according to the actual tax code of Ukraine. Also, there are two proposed new schemes of taxation. Both provide the increase of level of environmental tax in a different way. One proposes a steep growth, the other is gradual. But any of the proposed schemes do not consider to differ tax rate in accordance of type of boiler's fuel. The widespread indicators that are often used for cost comparisons for energy and heating generations are the levelized cost of energy, LCOH, and its analog for heating, levelized cost of heating, LCOH. The traditional LCOH formula was modified to include influence of cost of energy. The levelized cost of heat, taking into account the environmental tax, is calculated by the expression that can be seen on the slide. The change in LCOH due to the environmental tax is determined by the expression that can be seen lower. For the study, the authors used data from which was calculated the LCOH and the contribution of environmental tax in LCOH for 3 types of boilers with various capacity up to 58 megawatts, burning natural gas, coal, and fuel oil, which are the most common for boilers houses of Ukraine and for boilers on different types of biofuels. The difference of LCOH with and without environmental tax is calculated to an increase in eco-tax rates by 50% and 4 times according to Ukrainian bills, and the eco-tax rates in Poland, one of the lowest in the European Union, and Sweden, highest in the European Union. On this slide, you can see calculations of LCOH difference. If the tax rates were increased in accordance with Swedish scenario, the heat produced by powerful gas boilers would be the cheapest. Bio boilers wouldn't be able to compete even with boilers fueled by oil and coal. That means that the increase in the tax rates doesn't encourage power industry to switch to biorenewable fuel, so it's important to take into account all negative effects. We shouldn't forget that the unreasonable increase in the tax rates can lead to irredeemable consequences in economic and social life. The increase of environmental tax without its proper management plan won't guarantee an achievement of the goals of sustainable development. Environmental taxing system is an efficient mechanism that is supposed to conduct strategical goals and development areas of the government. The calculations in the paper demonstrate that bio-boilers have no benefits regardless of the country. The higher the tax rate, the bigger the gap between the boilers of various fuel types, while there still are no advantages to boilers that fit the concept of sustainable development. Thank you for the attention.